It wasn't until 7th grade where I found myself in love with one school. Yes, I had big dreams for Princeton and Juilliard, but I knew this one purple school in New York would be my favorite. So I took it upon myself to visit and act like a real NYU student. And while walking that campus, I knew this was the place for me. A little birdie told me Kenziesekoni is back. Just a little birdie. Let me stop messing. It's the one and only Kenziesekoni. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about how I got into my dream school, NYU. I'm very excited to make this video. I'm going to be looking over here because I have my notes on my iPad, but basically we're just going to cover the big things, which is academics, essays, extracurriculars, and advice. I applied with a 3.86 as my GPA and a 4.0, which is weighted. I was ranked 72 out of 506 students, and I did not submit any test scores, like at all, because I suck at test taking. So I was like, let's not do that. Let's just throw it out the window. I took 5 APs, which includes the 2 that I'm taking this year, my senior year. I'm kind of required to, but I mean, it's nice to take them anyways because I feel like it challenges me. I'm also dually enrolled, which means I took a class at my local community college. I ended up taking English 1010 because I don't know, I feel like it would be challenging. I didn't want to do English 12, and I was like, I need something that's gonna like give me a little boost. So I chose to do English 12 as, you know, a dually enrolled class. I'm losing my words, I'm so sorry. Throughout most of high school I had straight A's, so that's a great thing. I think what we need to say here is that you won't need straight A's. I've talked to a lot of NYU students already, and you know, they kind of say like, no matter what you're going to major in, it's not really about your grades, it's about how you carry yourself. And even if, you know, you do have good grades, if you can't carry yourself in your application, it's gonna go downhill. I'm so sorry, I had to move my phone, it died randomly. But back to what we were talking about, where I'm going to move on to my extracurriculars. So I have 6 extracurriculars, and I only recruited I think 4 to 5 of them, but I'm just going to go over everything that I've done in my high school career. I might even put them over here on the side. I am president of a nonprofit organization. It's also a club at my school. It's called the Lift Club, and basically I help students reach their graduation requirements by handing out service hours with fun activities. So I mean, right now we're having a Christmas tree contest, which is really fun. They're gonna earn about 2 hours for that. But basically my club is just centered around giving opportunities to students to volunteer and do something that's fun instead of making it feel like it's forced. And of course, you know, we're a nonprofit because we also do donation drives, and we donate to a lot of the local charities, businesses, churches around us. I was also a secretary of a nonprofit organization during my junior year of high school. That was very fun. What else have I done? I also work at Cold Stone. I also work at Cold Stone now. I am a shift lead, so I close the store, I lock up the store at night, you know, I do all those type things. I'm basically like a makeshift manager. I am also part of a program at my school called the Science and Technology program, and I'm a computer science major. So my entire 4 years of high school, I've just been doing rigorous college level work in a lot of classes. I mean, not all of them, but like it's kind of just like a rigorous schedule. There was really no time to just like rest. My freshman year, I was concertmaster of my orchestra. Granted, I've been playing the violin since I was the age of 9, so it's been about 8 years, 9 years. I don't get to play it at school anymore, perform, but I do enjoy kind of taking it up as a hobby. Sometimes I'll play during like breaks, like winter break, spring break, things like that. And lastly, I did softball my freshman year of high school, but it did not go too far because we ended up, you know, going into quarantine. But those are my extracurriculars, and it kind of shows like you don't have to name all of them. Like I didn't name softball. I didn't really name orchestra either. Like I said it on there, but it wasn't like, hey, I've done orchestra for this long. It was kind of just like, yeah, I like to play violin. So For extracurriculars, I just say, keep it cool, keep it calm. You don't need to list everything. Just list what's important to you and what you've dedicated the most time to. Because at the end of the day, you can have all these clubs, but if you don't show that you know and you care about them, they're not going to care either. So you have to think about it like that. So with my essays, the big one, the Common App essay, that was the longest one, and I wrote it about self-expression, and I kind of just talked about how I like marketing and how I like data, and I can see myself delivering it. And I kind of just talked about, like, I used to play violin, but I couldn't anymore. But I talked about how I played violin and I kind of fell out of love with it and things of that sort. So my essay was kind of just centered around that. It was centered around how I fell in love with something new. And I think the trick to it was I want to major in something, so I added the major into my essay. I talked about how, like, I'm into media and I'm into talking to people around the world, and that's exactly what culture and communications is. So it was kind of like, boom, like, like she's into this. Like, this is something she enjoys doing on the side. And I kind of talked about how I enjoy doing research along with it too. I like writing down stuff. And I mean, that would sell me. If I was an admissions officer at NYU, it'd sell me. We're a private research university and you like doing research on your own. Like, those are the type of things that you want to talk about in your essay, and those are the type of things that you want to get towards. For the diversity essay, it kind of stumped me because I was like, I don't know how I'm diverse, but I ended up writing about my upbringing, how, like, my values, my morals, everything like that, how everything that makes me is going to be different from the next person that you walk across. So, like, even though you might admit 1,000 Black students, like 2,000, 5,000, how many Black students they admit, I'm me, and my upbringing is just as important as everyone else's in a classroom setting. And to have my own word put into research is even bigger. So I think that's kind of what sold them that. I just talked about how, like, I can add my own personal touch and my own personal light to what I write about and what I get across to others.
This feels so serious. I'm sorry.
For the MLK Scholars program, for the scholars, I just wrote about my club. I wrote about the Lift Club that I was talking about, the nonprofit organization. I wrote about how, I enjoy doing that. I've been doing it, and it's really important to advocate for these types of things. And I try to get out there as much as possible when it comes to having my club and holding events and just talking to my club members, because it's kind of hard. There are a lot of them. So you have to really sit there and, like, go one by one, be like, hi, I'm this person. You just get to know them. It's really fun. I just wrote about that experience. And lastly, our advice section. This is probably the best section. Like, you want to listen to this. So, to sum up everything that I just said, my biggest piece of advice would have to be you. Now, I know when I heard this and when people told me that, I was like, okay, like,
what am I gonna do with this?
But basically, you just want to be you. You want to put yourself out there, and you want to make sure that you stand out for who you are. That was probably the biggest thing that I kind of capitalized off of in my essays. I made sure that they knew that I'm Kenzie. Like, this is me. This is what I do. This is how I operate. This is me. And I think that really kind of connects with them, and they get to know, like, who you are as a person instead of who you are trying to look like or who you are trying to perceive yourself as to, just get admitted. They're going to see right through the BS in life. I'm just going to tell you. They're going to see right through it. So you want to make sure that you're telling the truth and you're being honest. Another trick I used, write about your major in your essay so that your whole application just flows together. I want to do media, culture, and communications. My Common App essay was about media, culture, and me communicating. So it kind of loops around. Then I talked about my club, communicating, culture, like, everything kind of just went full circle in my essay. And I think that's also something that's going to sell admissions officers. Like, when you talk about what you want to do, make sure you mention it, even in my essay. Like, I talked about classes that they offer, psychoanalysis, culture, and desire. Like, that's a course that they offer in my major. So I wrote about how, like, if I go to NYU, I'm gonna put my input in this major class that I have to take. Like, it's things like that where you have to, like, advocate for yourself and push for why NYU needs you. Another thing, don't talk about New York City. Instead, talk about NYU. I love the city. I've always wanted to live in New York City. I did not mention New York City not once in my essay. You want to talk about how the actual campus is going to help you and not the city. If I said I wanted to do research because this is a hub for where, you know, a lot of businesses are, they're going to look at you crazy. Like they're going to look at me crazy. You want to talk about how NYU has a global network. And if I wanted to, I can travel across the world and network through NYU. That's what you want to say when you're going to apply, because they're not going to care if you say, I want to be in New York City. They like people who want to be international. They like people who are going to take that risk and take that chance. So do that. Make sure you mention that. Yeah. The last tip I have is you just manifest and pray.
You just manifest and pray.
Yeah. Look at this. I manifested this. I said I was going to get in. And guess what? I got in with amazing financial aid. I have so much aid that I'm basically, like, it's basically a full ride. Like, I got in. I got in. Let's go. Yo. I got in. I got into NYU. Oh my God. Wow, I will never forgive myself for looking like this. While filming this video, I have a ponytail. I'm sorry, I'm getting my hair done soon. Besides the point though, the whole point of this is basically I'm here to explain kind of what it looks like. So I'm in NYU for sure. I am going to be majoring in media, culture, and communications to have some fun. I'm definitely going to be really excited, really happy. I have a concert to go to soon for my little brother, but once we get back home, I guess me and my mom were going to talk about it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So your girl is now an NYU student. Like, can you believe it? This like has sparked my entire interest of like getting back into like being on social media and stuff, because I was stressing so bad about this application. Between this application, school, stuff like that, like work, I was just stressing so bad about it. But I'm glad to say that it's here, and I will be most likely going to NYU. I just gotta talk to my mom, but I'm in. I am in.